Welcome to a special edition of Demo Reel, this time covering the Steam Next Fest that's just going on right now. Last time I covered one of these events, I got to it at the tail end, so the video with my recommendations only came out way after the event was done, but now I got it at the very beginning, so I can give you my recommendations for the best demos while the event is still going on. Maybe giving you a chance to try them by yourself, because I've realized that a lot of these demos don't survive past the event. Which is truly a damn shame, because a lot of this stuff needs to be played to be appreciated. There are so many games right now being showcased as part of the different Summer Games Fest events. There's the BC Showcase, the Summer Games Fest, the Steam Next Fest, Black Voices in Gaming, Future Showcase, so much. And so many games and concepts put out there for people to enjoy, so I'm gonna do my best to give you my recommendations for the best demos to try out. Mind you, this is based on my own personal taste, so take it with a grain of salt. But let's get to it. The first game I'm gonna be covering is technically not part of the Steam Next Fest, as far as I know, but part of this whole Summer Games Fest. And it's the sequel to The Case of the Golden Idol, The Rise of the Golden Idol. It is a game, much like its predecessor, where you collect keywords from the environment from different scenes and scenarios presented to you, and then use them, and some deduction, to fill in the blanks in some statements. And in doing so, learning what's actually going on and provide some context into the overall narrative. The first game was outstanding, and just from the little bit that is showcased in this demo, I can tell for sure that the next one is going to be phenomenal. Go try it out. This was an instant wish list for me. Next up is Steel Seed, a game that's very much cyberpunk, cyborg, heavily industrial Assassin's Creed, maybe, kinda. You control a young woman who's been altered and is now infiltrating an enemy base that seems like a factory to obtain something. I'll be honest, the plot elements of the demo kinda went over my head. I don't think they were even mentioned, but the gameplay is solid. And from the beginning, and from this demo, there are so many character options for traversal, for combat, for stealth. The stealth is crisp, which is saying something. Stealth usually sucks. This one is great. But what I like the most is the fact that to unlock different skills, you have to complete challenges. For example, you need to kill 5 enemies by drawing them into tall grass or the tall grass equivalent. And that unlocks the ability to create a patch of this tall grass anywhere. That's really cool. That's really interesting because it shows you the base mechanic and then allows you to unlock the advanced version. Plus, it has some nice platforming, some little parkour elements. I am keen to see what more this game has to offer, so Steel Seed is something you should look out for. Bow Path of the Steel Lotus is a very beautiful looking Metroidvania. The art style is crisp, the movement is delightful, and your character unlocks a bat to not only fight enemies, but to juggle them and use them as projectiles, which is so cool. It is really so much fun. Not to mention, and I think I've mentioned this in some other videos, I'm a big fan of mythology. Mythology is my thing, as is folklore. Monsters, creatures, spirits, different tales, I love all of them. And this game draws heavy inspiration from Japanese folklore. So you see a lot of tsukumogami, basically animated objects, as part of the environment and as enemies, and I just love that. This was another instant wish list for me. The next game I tried was Edge of Sanity, a 2D eldritch horror exploration and survival game, where your character and other survivors all work for this shady corporation and something's happened, a gate has been breached, and now there's horrible monsters everywhere. So you set up from your base camp to these different outposts to gather supplies, rescue survivors, and learn what the hell is going on, while at the same time, as expected, losing all your sanity. I am really interested in seeing where this one goes. Demonschool is the only demo I played where the combat kicked my butt the first time around. I actually had to take my time and figure out the combat slowly. I mean, the demo gave me pointers and told me where to go to learn more. But you know what, I didn't have the time, I'll figure out myself, and got my butt whooped. But once I had my head around it, I found that the combat is really satisfying with your party not having like individual character turns, but a whole collection of action points that you can split between the different members of the party for different actions and different attacks. The result being that you can just use one character to decimate a bunch of enemies, or split them out for a bit more strategic advantage. And yeah, I did none of that. I brute forced my way through it. Come on, it's me. That's what's gonna happen. But I was really interested in the story elements. There's a bit of like conspiracy. Our character is amnesiac. There's demons everywhere. I mean, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I am so shocked that we got this demo next. It's the remake of Riven, one of the games in the Myst series. I played the original Riven many years ago. One of the best adventure games I've ever played. Now, this is a fully remade game with full 3D exploration and revamped puzzles. That's the thing that shocked me the most. They actually went back and redid a lot of the puzzles. There are entire new surprises in this game. A bridge collapsed that should not have collapsed according to the original game. So I am in for this. I need more. Instant wishlist. Instant. I love Metal Slug. I love these old school shooter games. I've never been able to beat one. I always get my butt whooped, but I love them. They're really fun. And so you give them to me now in a tactics format? Hell yes! The mechanics are so fun. You can, if you align an enemy between your different party members, like on the same row or column, they get follow-up attacks to your moves, which is really nice. Plus, it's Metal Slug. It's outrageous, it's fun, it's over the top. It's everything you need now in tactics format. Yes, 100 times yes. I Am Your Beast shocked me. I didn't know what to expect. At the beginning, you're doing a little bit of platforming and moving, kind of tutorial thing, but I couldn't figure out what was going on. In the sense I didn't know what the core loop was going to be. And then some dastardly soldiers killed the bird. And then I'm jumping on one of them, crushing their head, grabbing their gun, killing the next one. And I realized this is the game version of the movie Crank with Jason Statham, where he has to constantly be in an adrenaline rush to survive. Here you're constantly active, moving from one enemy to the next with a countdown that only gets extended as you kill enemies. But you don't have many resources, so you have to get your weapons from them and use them against them. It's great. And one of those rare games where the story likely won't matter too much, but the gameplay is king. Now, I didn't play the first Wizard of Legend, but I think I might be going back to play it because the sequel, Wizard of Legend 2, that was showcased on this Steam Next Fest, is really fun. It's more or less a Hades clone with wizards, but it's really entertaining. And it's not the only Hades-like in this Steam Next Fest. There's another one that I actually found much more interesting. And speaking of interesting concepts, this one just hit my heart in all the right places. Tactical Breach Wizards. It reminded me of XCOM Chimera Squad, which is tactics but in short bursts after like a breach in an encounter, where you have just a few short moments to take out all the enemies. That is what this game is about, just with wizards and magic and pushing all your enemies through windows. It's delightful. And you're presented with different abilities one by one, and they're all outrageous. Like one of the characters has like this insta-kill beam, but he needs to set up the place where he's gonna shoot in advance. So you set him up and you use the other character to push that enemy into that square of the map, which is just delightful. It's simple in concept, but just so amazing execution. It's so much fun. Instant wishlist. Now a game that surprised me and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Vampire Therapist, where you play as this down dirty old cowboy going to Germany to meet with this old Dracula-like guy to become a therapist for the undead. And I found in this short demo just how much heart there is in this concept. Not only that, but all the definitions used, all the cognitive distortions that the characters talk about and point out in the different patients are real things. And I found it a nice way to introduce people into psychology. Like, I wasn't aware of a lot of these concepts until after I played the game, and so I'm really interested in seeing where it goes. Because the main character just sounds so compelling. A vampire who was a killer but then went on a walkabout for like 90 years and figure out the stuff in his life and is now wanting to help others figure their crap out as well. Instant wishlist, of course. Instant. I love me a good Metroidvania, and Voidwrought was a good Metroidvania. I love the style, I love the aesthetics, I love the speed, and I love how the different abilities are presented. Particularly the hookshot-like ability that shoots you in an arc, which is very interesting because it makes certain things more challenging than if you just got shot in a straight line. I'm very intrigued to see how it complements different abilities. I also like the combat, and the challenge of the bosses was just right. They can be fast, but also have good tells. so you can learn the patterns and avoid them altogether. Now, I'm not much of a tycoon game kind of person. It's not really my thing, but Hollywood Animals caught my attention. Particularly because it mentions that it shows how dirty, grimy, and gritty the business of the film industry can be. With all of its discriminations, all of its, just seedy underbelly. And that to me is potential, because I like it when games don't shy away from darker topics. I like that. Plus, I got to create the dumb movies of my dreams, so yeah, let's do it. Blueprints blew my mind. This game is what would happen if you combine an escape room with Betrayal at House on the Hill, where every time you open a door, you generate a new room with new conditions, new items, new puzzles, everything. So you are presented with a target room that you need to get to, but the way there is completely up to you and the luck of the draw, plus your ability to strategize and put in rooms that may have items and resources that you can use later. Do I need to say it? I will say it. Instant wish list. Next time is Cat Quest 3. Yes, 100 times yes, 1,000 times yes. I love the Cat Quest series. And this entry, I wanted, I needed. Give it to me now. Instant wish list. I don't need to say anymore. Go play this demo. I think I said it just now, but I'll say it again. I love me a good Metroidvania, and this Steam Next Fest has a bunch of those, including Blade Chimera, where you play as a demon hunter fighting enemies with a gun, only to fight a giant-ass dragon and getting a magical sword from it that allows you not just fight, but also add things to the environment, like add platforms to your platforming, add a lift to go up and down, add a vending machine to buy things. It's incredible the things you can do. Plus, the gameplay is so good. It's so satisfying. It is just go play it. I'm not going to say anymore. Just go play it. The next one is Morn, and this is another one of those games that caught me by surprise. It's a mix of old school Heretic or Hexen with something like Ultra Kill, so it's super fast, hardcore, just keep fighting moment after moment, no stop, full adrenaline. I love it. It's old school in all the right ways. It's new school in all the right ways. Just phenomenal. Instant wishlist, for sure. There were a lot of horror-themed games in this Steam Next Fest, particularly in the point-and-click adventure genre. This one, Deep Sleep, Labyrinth of the Forsaken, which is kind of a mouthful, is one of them. Delightful presentation, very intriguing concept of being in someone else's dreamscape and just realizing that you're kind of trapped there as something of a mental labyrinth. It's visually interesting. It's not easy. There's some great difficulty there. I even died in this demo, but I'm intrigued to see where it goes next. Now, this next game I didn't think would be as enjoyable. It's called Lock, and the point of the game is simply to click on the letters to form words. The first one is lock, the second is tlack, tlack. But the point of it all is to turn all the white squares black, and you do so by completing the words, and each word, when complete, allows you to darken one or more other squares. So it's a bit of a strategy in which ones you pick, which ones you darken, and so on. It's fascinatingly simple in concept, but it scratches that puzzling itch in my brain so well that by the time I was done with the demo, I realized that an hour had gone by. So I foresee myself sinking a lot of time into this one. Instant wishlist, for sure. Another game that's instantly wishlisted from the get-go is The Operator, which is essentially the government version of Cyber Manhunt. And I love Cyber Manhunt. I covered Cyber Manhunt 2 in a previous Steam Next Fest. This one, Operator, is just as fun. You're just using, let's call it official resources from a federal department of intelligence. And there's crimes and missing people and hackers. It's got it all. It's just wonderful. I love this kind of thing. It's investigative, it's deductive, it's everything. Yes, 100 times yes. Devil's Hideout is another of these horror point-and-click adventure games that struck me for how good its atmosphere is. The music, the vibe, even the animations, this game is eerie. And as I played through the demo, I kept feeling more and more uneasy. Like, just, let's keep going, let's get this done because something's off. But it's simply that even with the animated presentation, the atmosphere created was getting to me. So I'm really interested in seeing where it goes. This one I was surprised by, Dustborn. I didn't know what I was playing half the time. I thought it was something like a adventure game where you solve a puzzle, then it turns into a rhythm game, then the next sequence, you're fighting mechs with a bat and special abilities. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And yet, I felt strangely compelled to keep going. It's set in an alternate history where JFK created something of an authoritarian nation. I need to know more. Like, the demo did its job. It got me hooked and wondering, what else does Dustborn have to offer? I played like 3 different styles of game in one go. What else does this have to offer me? So yeah, bring it on. Instant wishlist. I'm curious, I need to know. And guess what? It's a Metroidvania. Mira and the Legend of the Djinn is the best Metroidvania of the entire Steam Next Fest. You play Mira, who's a wandering warrior and music. She's a bard, okay? She's a D&D bard. And she finds a jar and plays a melody and awakens a djinn that fuses with them. And it's just so much fun. It kicks off from the get-go, and there's music as part of the mechanics. The movement is swift. The game is fast. The combat is satisfying. The abilities are great. And yeah, I just need to know more. I love the visual presentation of it. I love Djinns. Again, folklore, mythology, my thing. Yeah, I need more. Please give me more. Instant wishlist for sure. And now for the best demo in the entire Steam Next Fest. Instant wishlist for sure. Best in the show. Just the best. Rose Cottage. A point-and-click adventure game set in Victorian England where you were exploring a quote-unquote haunted mortuary. The staff is missing. The owner, who's the character's father-in-law, is asking for help. The place is creepy. The atmosphere is gripping, but there's a lot of good humor too. It's funny. At the same time, it's scary. And the voice acting is delightful. And not only that, but there's an emotional personal connection between the character and the place. So yeah, there's everything. This game has everything. And the puzzles are fun too. This one is it for me. This is the game of the Steam Next Fest. You know, it might not be for everyone else, but for me, this is the best in show. This is instant wishlist for sure. Ophelia's chapter got me in presentation alone. It is profoundly creepy. The movement is a bit slow for my tastes, even in a point-and-click adventure game. But even from the get-go, you get a visitor and then you're being told you need to go someplace else to see the person that just arrived in your apartment. So it sounds like one of those internet videos of doppelgangers already. And then you go and they're not there, and you have a sudden memory of the past that involves traveling to another dimension and seeing some horrible monsters. Yeah, this game, for a point-and-click adventure game, starts off 100 miles an hour and just runs you through. And I wanted to do it again. I want to know what else this game has to offer. I am very intrigued. Now, I mentioned that there was another game, another Hades-like on this list, and here it is, Morn. A game that I can only describe as Arthurian Hades, where King Arthur is the bad guy, and the Holy Grail has generated these new saviors, these warriors, that have now the duty to defeat King Arthur. With the help of not only Merlin, but also instead of gods, we have fairies, Oberon, Titania, Mab, characters from Celtic traditions, and even Arthurian legends. And I mentioned I like this one a lot more than Wizards of Legend, and it's just because of mythology. Yeah, the mythology is an instant hook for me. And now for the second best game in the Steam Next Fest for me is the Sumerian 6. Game that was shown in the Summer Games Fest presentation or the PC presentation, I don't remember. It's a strategy action game, the same vein as the old school Commandos, which I love, and also Shadow Tactics and Shadow Gambit by Mimimi Games. I love this style of game. And this one has a squad of superpowered people, deranged scientists, and a werebear. Yeah, that's a mix I need to explore. I need to explore it further. And I love the abilities so far, including one of them has the ability to hijack someone else's body and just travel with them, which is an interesting way of going through enemy lines. Yeah, give me more Sumerian 6. And to close off this video, we have Hollow Body, One more horror adventure-ish game. This one having a very interesting presentation. It gave me Silent Hill vibes from the beginning. Even if nothing happened, I was just exploring this dead city, finding some items and trying to get into a building. The atmosphere was oppressive, and I felt like anything could jump out of the shadows at me. And when I actually fought an enemy near the end of my time with the demo, the thing just rushed at me super quickly. It really was an effective jump scare. Like if someone had said, let's take that iconic monster reveal from the first Resident Evil, but let's replace that slow zombie with one of the zombie things from 28 Days Later that just rushes at you. I was shocked, scared, and I need to see if this game lives up to the potential and the expectations that now I have in my mind. And there you have it. That's the full list of all the demos I recommend you try out in this Steam Next Fest. I played through more than 35 demos, and I've condensed it to this list of 20 something because I felt these rose above the rest. I mean, we have at least one game in this list of a genre I normally don't engage with, the tycoon thing, but the presentation and the style got to me. I need to see more of it. And if you're watching this video and you're thinking that I'm not as eloquent this time around as I am on other videos, it's because those I tend to write a script for and plan it out. I decided to make this video as off the cuff as possible. So this is as close to a reaction video as you're gonna get from me. Honestly, I've been so excited about all these demos that I just had to talk about it. I just had to get my ideas out there fresh without writing them down. If I wrote them down, I would think too hard about it, and I just wanted my first impression to be part of this video. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.